Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, wherever you are. Welcome to M1 Racing, another Wednesday, and it's the penultimate round of the G-Force Racing Elite League Season 5. Would you believe? Welcome, Emerge, to the Twitch chat. Have a great race today. Will you clinch the championship tonight? There's a high likelihood at the moment. We'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. And as Emerge has mentioned, the numbers for this next penultimate round are actually quite low, so the door is open for Emerge to seal their very first GFR championship in round 11 with one race left to go. So very much looking forward to this one, but there's still a little bit to be decided in the Constructors as well. So let me bring you up to speed very quickly because we've only got a few minutes before we're ready up. I think we're waiting for one or two more drivers to come in. I'll show you the results from last week. We were in China. The deferred round 3, I think it was, it eventually got moved to round 10, but it gave us a brilliant race, and it was mixed up somewhat by the weather. As you can see from the replay in the top right corner of your screen, folks, it started dry but gradually got wetter and wetter. Yes, Goat, welcome to the Twitch chat. Have a good race today, my friend. I think there is the opportunity for RB to seal the Constructors today as well, with limited Mercedes cars out on track as well. So I'm not sure what's happened this week. Even I was a bit late to the party today as well. So all things conspiring to play into the hands of the RB team for both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors. We'll bring the points up in a moment, folks. So Jakob H on their return to G-Force Racing after quite a substantial break, came back as though they'd never been away. They came home in first place and fastest lap, 26 points for them. And what would the story of the Season 5 have been if Jakob had been able to stay with us for some of the mid-season races? Only the gods will know, but a very good return from Jakob H. Decives, as you see on the list here. Decives isn't racing today, though, so Mercedes are without their star driver. It's going to be all in the hands, I think, of SS7 in the Constructors title, and also SS7 is fighting for a potential third place in the Drivers' Championship. So it's going to be all to play for, and we still do have two races left. This one coming up today and the one next week. Liam Mag continues their good form coming back to G-Force Racing. They finished in second. Decives, to be fair to them, did get their strategy absolutely spot on, but Liam fought their way through into second, followed by the two RBs of Emerge KDs, our championship leader, and their teammate Goat Ghosty. Another good day for Team RB, and it was good to see Goat back on form once again and enjoying the wet conditions as we see quite regularly from Goat Ghosty. And Goat Ghosty wants that third place in the Drivers' Championship. Good. Let's keep SS7 honest here. We can't let the league owner run away with that third place. Tom 1998 on their return to GFR. They finished in 5th. SS7 there in 6th. So it was not a bad day for Mercedes. Not a bad day for RB either in the Constructors. Emil finished 7th. Jakob O in 8th, driving for McLaren this time, but staying with the Mercedes engine. And Srivatsa finished in 9th. Daddy Tonk, or E36 Go, continued their run of scoring, but in 10th place there. Jaguar had a below standard race for them, not the best day out. They were finished just outside the points. And DNFs for KKE and Mr. Hannes. So that was last week. So the all-important standings as we wait for our remaining drivers to get into the lobby. We're going to try and at least have, I think, expecting about 7 drivers. So plenty of points up for grabs. And will we decide the championship today? Well, Liam Mag has given a really good go of keeping Emerge honest here. 166 points for Emerge. Liam Mag is 44 points back. Now, I've tried to work out the various different permutations here, but the main outcomes are if Emerge finishes in front of Liam Mag, then Emerge is Season 5 champion. There's nothing anyone else can do about that. Liam Mag needs to win today, and I think we're waiting for him to get back from work to actually get into the lobby and join us in qualifying for that. But if Liam Mag wins in this next race, which is going to be in Vegas, so we're going to be wide open for potential opportunities here. If Liam Mag can win... Oh, we welcome back Obo into the lobby. We have not seen Owen for a few races. Welcome back, Owen. Hope you're well. So good to have you with us. And Obo goes quite well around Vegas as well. So this could make things interesting, even with a small grid. So back to the permutations. If Emerge finishes ahead of Liam Mag, then Emerge is definitely champion. If Liam Mag wins, and they have to win in order for any other options to come up, then Emerge has to finish P6 or better. Is the way my maths have worked out. So if Emerge finishes in P7 and Liam wins, then we'll go to the final race in Texas next Wednesday. But if Emerge finishes 6th or better, whatever happens in front of them, Emerge is going to be Season 5 champion. So I'm sure Emerge has got his calculator out, checking whether or not my maths is right, but I think that's right. So maybe one too many beers last night as I was trying to do the calculations, but I think that's what it's going to be. So Liam Mag is pushing Emerge to as far as they can. Bear in mind that Liam's only been with us for the last 3 or 4 races, and that's a huge haul of points. Thank you, Emerge. I think they're validating my numbers. So Liam's got a great haul of points. I do hope Liam sticks with us as we go into Season 6, and they've been a great addition to G-Force Racing, but so has Emerge, and they've given us some brilliant racing throughout this season. But will I get to press my special button today to award the championship to Emerge, or are we going to have to wait one more week? We'll find out in a little bit. SFS on their return, those maximum points in China has moved them back up into 3rd spot. They are certainly not in with a shout of drivers champion. There won't be 2 seasons in a row for SFS, but they have got some pressure around them because SS7, don't think we'll see M1 Righty today, but SS7 in with a shout of taking that 3rd place away from Jakob H with a good scoring points today, because Jakob H isn't competing. So there's an opportunity for SS7 to get in there. There's also an opportunity for Goat Ghosty to sneak in there. There's no Marcel either, so I think Goat Ghosty and SS7 and Emil might look to move up the order here. Emil is in the lobby as well, so there's an opportunity for some of our drivers to get a much stronger finishing position in Season 5, and I know a few of them will have their eye on 3rd spot, particularly with Jakob H not being out today. So I can see SS7 in the lobby. Shrivatsa's back with us. Welcome back, Shrivatsa. Ghosty's there and Emerged. Full strong Team RB. Emil for Red Bull. Obo for Aston Martin. Mr. Hannes for Williams. Welcome back, Mr. Hannes. And obviously SS7 for the Mercedes team. And these are the constructor standings. You absolutely would go. If you win, you get up to 3rd spot. That would be yours. And hey, Owen, thanks for saying hi in the Twitch chat. Great to have you back, my friend. We've missed you. Good to have you with us racing once again. So here are our constructors. Yeah, no, not raced for a long while, says Obo. But you go well around Vegas, Obo. I've seen you race around Vegas. I think you're going to be strong here. Tell you what, we've readied up. So we're going to come back to these constructors' points when we get into qualifying. I can bring them up on the screen when we go through there. So I shall see you 60 seconds time the other side of this. Don't go anywhere, folks. Side of Cox, SS7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. Alright folks, let's go racing. And there you go, folks. Penultimate round of the G-Force Racing Elite League Season 5 and also the penultimate G-Force Racing Elite League race on the F1 24 game. So we've only got one more round after today on the F1 24 game. Some may be delighted about that, others may be a little bit disappointed. I guess we'll all make a judgment once we see what it's like to play the F1 25 game. So interesting drivers chat going on at the moment. SS7 commenting on the fact that we've only got 7 drivers out back to the early G-Force racing days. I happen to mention that I think the driving standards used to be a little bit to be desired back then in some cases, but Emil, rightly so, is correcting me, saying that they were quite good from the beginning. Well, they certainly were with you, Emil, but we had some interesting drivers in the early stages. China Season 1 rings a bell, but there we go. Hannes has joined the fun as well. Hannes has definitely improved though, but they did give us some entertainment, as my Hannes tracker, reset to tracker, is testament to. We're following Srivatsa as they make their way around this track in Vegas, which is fast becoming one of the ones I really do enjoy watching races on, both in the game but also in the real world. I think there was some skepticism when Vegas was first announced as whether or not it would really deliver us any good F1 races, but I think any of you look back at the races from previous seasons in the real world F1, and they've always been very, very entertaining, not least due to this ridiculously long DRS straight down the strip through past all the various casinos, and I'll do my best to call those casinos out for you when we do some flying laps a little bit later on. It is a fantastic place to go, Vegas, if you ever get the opportunity. You don't have to spend an absolute fortune, but it is quite a bit of fun to go and throw some money away in the casinos that are very prevalent, as you might imagine. So Srivatsa is starting their hot lap here in Vegas under the lights. It's a very quiet track, as we'd expect it to be, with just a small group of drivers out there. We may as well bring up the track map so we get a sense of the number of drivers who are out on track at any given point in time, but it will allow our drivers to focus and get the best lap times possible. I think based on the driver's chat I was watching earlier, a 1:30 dead is pretty much got to be the minimum target if you fancy taking pole here, and probably into the 129s. Maybe we'll see a 128 if someone absolutely hooks it up, but Srivatsa is likely to be the first person to get a time on the board. They're coming around the back of the Venetian here. Between the Venetian and the Win is on our right hand side as we turn through turn 12, and now we head down the strip. So we're going to go past Treasure Island, then Horizon the Mirage, then we're going to go past the Flamingo opposite Caesar's Palace, then the Fountains of the Bellagio and the Paris Casino on our left hand side, and then into turn 15 we'll have the Cosmopolitan on our right and Planet Hollywood as we turn through on our left through the chicane of 14, 15 and 16. Down Harmon Avenue, heading towards Topgolf on the right hand side, which has as much neon as you can pack on a driving range as you can possibly find. And Srivatsa gets a 1:30.938 and our championship leader a 1:30.688 right now. Obo has a time on the board of 1:31.062. Those times will come down. I wouldn't be surprised if some drivers have kept a little bit of fuel to maybe go again. Track limits are not going to be a huge challenge here because, as you can see, Vegas as a street circuit is surrounded by walls, so if you go beyond the white lines you've probably ended up totaling your car or certainly causing a fair amount of damage. But this section that Srivatsa is coming through now is where it is possible to get a track limit penalty, so you may see one or two track limit warnings and eventual penalties later on. Let's get down to Emil, one of the very first drivers in G-Force Racing all the way back in Season 1 and has been with us ever since, and has also given us some of the most entertaining drives in G-Force Racing history. Zandvoort Season 3, I believe, comes to mind as Emil demonstrated their prowess in the wet, and they get a 1:31.128 in the dry here in Vegas. It has been known to rain in Vegas on a GFR race and in the real world. SS7 with 1:31.199. Mr. Hannes, the only driver yet to set a time. So I did mention we'll take a look at the Constructors standings because that is where it is super tight. So you can see that right-hand side of your screen there, folks. The RB's leading their way on 251, but Mercedes just 5 points behind with 2 races left to go. It is absolutely anybody's Constructors' Championship to win right now. Red Bull are definitely out of it at this point. I can't see them closing down enough of a gap, particularly with just Liam flying the flag for Ferrari now. So it's between the RBs and Mercedes as to who's going to win there. Now, SS7, as the eagle-eyed amongst you would have already seen, is the only Mercedes out there on track. So there is an opportunity for the RBs to win it today. Certainly if both RBs finish ahead of SS7, then that is also the Constructors' Championship done. Mercedes will not be able to claw it back. If SS7 has a very good race today, and certainly finishes ahead of one of the RBs, then you'll have to wait till next week to find out who's won the Constructors, because my brain doesn't work fast enough to do the calculations. But there might be someone smart enough in the Twitch chat who can help me out with that. And certainly if David T arrives, I might set him that task of working out the various permutations as we see this unfold. Obo is out preparing their Aston Martin for a flying lap here. The Aston Martin's going very well in the first half of Season 5, but sadly, as Owen's been unable to race for a few weeks, and also M. Dorling has missed a few rounds as well. The Aston Martin charge sadly fallen by the wayside in Season 5, but take nothing from that. The Aston Martin drivers are quick at every track, and Obo will be hoping to prove that here today. We'll ride on board with Obo in just a moment. They're warming up these soft tyres. I think everyone's setting their early qualifying laps on soft tyres. I think that will unlikely to see soft tyres in the race itself. My prediction is mediums and hards. It's really just in which order drivers decide to go with their tyre selections here. So Obo putting some heat into those soft tyres as they head down the strip here. Great overtaking opportunity. The DRS zone shortened last season from seasons before, so it's not quite as long a DRS straight as it has been historically. Obo cuts the chicane there, but that's okay. They are not on a qualifying lap. Yeah, so let's get those Constructors standing out the way. We will ride on board with Obo as they look to beat their 131.062 and get closer to now Goat Ghosty, who is provisional P1. So apologies, Goat, we did not see your lap time come in, but we see it now. The RBs, provisional P1 and P2 in their fight for both driver and Constructor glory here in Season 5. Obo heading down now into Turn 5 through our first DRS zone. Big chunk of curb on the inside of Turn 5 as we head back up the hill into the tight, twisty part of the circuit. Trying to carry as much speed as we can, but stay within those track limits. Our drivers will be running very, very low wings here to take advantage of that long DRS straight, but it makes the car super slippery through turns 7, 8 and 9. A big bump on the inside here of turn 11. Big chunk of curve from Obo through 12, and now we get on the power and we're heading towards the DRS activation point. It used to be around here now, but it's a bit further down before we can activate the DRS. We hear the beep as the DRS comes open for Obo. And it's all now about picking our braking point underneath the bridge here. Into turns 14, 15 and now 16, really close to the wall for Obo, but through safely. Can they improve on that 131.062? How close can they get to Goat Ghosty's time? They do improve by about a tenth and a bit, and that puts Obo into provisional P3. Srivatsa is going again, and I may as well bring up the lap data so all of you watching along can see if they're improving. Srivatsa is equal with their previous time, but they have now run into some traffic here if Srivatsa is on a hot lap. Now, this might be an advantage to them actually, because they've got an RB in front. Not sure if that is Emerge or Goat, but Srivatsa is going to get a lovely tow here from the RBs in front of them. And we'll see how much of a benefit that is for the Haas driver. Can certainly be worth a good half a second. They are 1.5 tenths up coming through sector 2. So Shrivats are gradually improving here, and they will get a tow from the RBs. And the RBs are working together also. SS7 and the Mercedes team have probably, their hearts are sinking right now as far as winning the Constructors is concerned. The Haas of Shrivats are navigating the final corners of this lap. One last corner to go, which is turn 17, which we should take flat out. Goat goes faster, Emerge goes faster still, and Srivatsa does improve. 130.875 for Srivatsa, but Emerge KDs takes provisional pole from their teammate by just 5 thousandths of a second. SS7 going again here, just on a warm-up lap for SS7 at the moment. So SS7 at 131.199. Mr. Hanna's still yet to come out of the pit lane because Emil fast approaching SS7. Let's see if Emil is on a hot lap. Looks as though they are, and they're picking up a nice tow from the Mercedes. They are. Wonder if SS7 and Emil have got a Red Bull Mercedes pact going. That's something you probably wouldn't see in the real world. But maybe going here, there's SS7 definitely giving a massive advantage to Emil down the start-finish straight. So Emil comes through the final chicane, heads back towards the start-finish straight here, and improves by half a second. 130.673 for Emil. That puts Emil into provisional P3, shifts Srivatsa down to P4. Obo there currently in P5. SS7 is 6th. Mr. Harness there in 7th. Yet to set a lap time, but Emerge looking strong right now. But you can see how tight it is, folks. There's only a couple of tenths back to Emil from the RB's time. And all of our drivers will know when the race gets underway. You see Liam Mag trying to get into the session now. So it's, at least the Ferrari hopefully will get an opportunity to start. Liam just looking for another invite. And I know SS7 will probably want the Ferrari out there to try and give the RBs at least something to think about. And I think Liam's looking to absolutely cement their second place in the championship. Liam has been a real revelation since coming back to GFR. Made a couple of cameo appearances in previous seasons, but has been able to race with us pretty much consistently the last 4 or 5 races, and has shown themselves to be one of the drivers to beat. So that's Emerge's car there in the RB garage, just getting themselves ready for the final minutes of qualifying. We just get the one qualifying session here, folks, so our drivers are looking to set the best time possible in the 18 minutes they've been given with the selection of tyres that they've been given. So Emerge just backing into the garage there. We'll get a bit of extra fuel, brand new set of tyres I expect, and they will be back out again. Obo had set their time 130.822. I think they're on the cool down lap and will probably be heading back to the pits now. They're very quiet with only 7 drivers, but don't let that fool you, folks. These drivers know what they're doing. They're very evenly matched, and the DRS here will allow all of these drivers to stay very close to each other. So don't be surprised if you see 7 drivers following nose to tail for a good 20 or so laps here around this Vegas circuit. Certainly staying dry for qualifying. We'll keep our eye on the forecast for when we get into the race itself. And I do just need to catch up on the driver's checks, as it looks as though I've missed a couple. And I also see Mr. Hayes. Thank you. Apologies. I did not see your message in the Twitch chat. So hopefully, I believe I saw you join. So hopefully you're in. If not, let me know, and I will do my best to add you from here, as it's a little quiet out on track at the moment. So Liam is struggling to get into qualifying, it would seem. So we'll see if they get in. We've only got 2.5 minutes left of qualifying here, so hopefully we can make that work for Liam, and we will have 8 drivers out there. Yeah, Mr. Hennis, if you're listening and you do need an invite. Oh no, Mr. Hennis is out there on an out lap. Good, so they are there. Good, so Mr. Hennis is there. We've just got to get Liam in. It looks as though we are going to restart the lobby after qualifying. So Liam Mag is going to be rejoining us, but at the end of qualifying, they will definitely be at the back of the grid. Look for a last to first charge from the Ferrari. So we'll expect a lobby reset in a few moments time, but we have qualifying yet to finish, and the result we get here is going to be the starting grid for round 11, the penultimate round of GeForce Racing Season 5, the Elite League here. Emerge and Goat Ghosty looking to improve on their previous times, and it looks as though Emerge is going to get the tow from Goat Ghosty here. Goat Ghosty leading the way for the RBs. They're doing their best to provide as much of an advantage to Emerge as they possibly can. And I see what I think is potentially doing there. They've gone intentionally straight on, unless that's right. So they're going to tow Emerge down the start-finish straight, and then Emerge will probably swap positions and offer the same to Goat Ghosty on the final seconds of the lap, and that's the advantage of having a teammate. So we'll see. Can Emerge KDs improve on that 130.481? DRS wide open, our battery being dumped as much as we can, picking up every ounce of speed. Our teammate gets out of the way. We brake heavily into turn 14, straddle that curb, get close to the wall on the exit, and we head down to finish our lap. We'll have our teammate close behind us because we're going to go one more time, and Emerge nearly makes the 129, so it's Goat Ghosty's turn now. The battle of the RBs for pole position here in Vegas. Emil in provisional P3 right now. And I wonder if Goat is a little bit close here to Emerge. The Goat Ghosty comes through on Emerge, and they are up by a 10th through sector 1. We'll see. That is a really tight line from Goat, but very, very quick. Picking up some tips myself now. As Goat Ghosty gets back on the power. Out of 9, we head back down Sands Avenue here. Say the Venetian Casino on our left-hand side, the Fashion Mall on the right-hand side, back on the power. As we leave the Stratosphere Casino behind us in our rearview mirror. Caesar's Palace, those famous billboards on the right-hand side. The fountains of the Bellagio blasting away on the right-hand side also. We see Aria in front of us. The MGM will be coming up on our left-hand side. We brake for Planet Hollywood. That's a little bit late from Goat. Didn't quite hit the apex there of 14. But back on the power. Have they improved on that 130.486? Will they take pole position away from their teammate of Emerge KDs? Not quite. Goat Ghosty takes P2. Can Emil improve? They're 3/10 up, so it's going very well for Emil. They can just sneak an extra 10th. They may even take P2. They cross the line. Oh, they lost a big amount of time. They were massively up in Sector 2. SS7 had improved, but only marginally. They're down there in P6. I'm surprised by that from SS7, but not being able to hook it up here in Vegas. So Emerge is on pole position. Goat Ghosty, their teammate, alongside them. And it's looking great for an RB Constructors Championship victory here in Vegas. We may not need to take this to the final race of Season 5. Could all be decided today, but they're at the top end of the standings. But there'll still be points and positions to play for in the final race. So do come and join us next week, folks, as we are on board with SS7 as they finished in 6th place. We are, I think, going to get a new lobby. But there's our final classification out of qualifying. Emerge KDs with a 130.190 is on pole. Their teammate Ghosty alongside them, very close, only half a 10th back. Then came Owen in the Aston Martin. Great time, Owen. 130.449, just 2.5 tenths. Then Stravatza, nice lap from Stravatza and Emil in 4th and 5th. SS7 in 6th. And Mr. Hannes in 7th. And Liam Mag, assuming we get into a new lobby, is going to be starting in 8th place. So I'm just keeping an eye on the driver's chats for some instructions from SS7. We should probably see if I'm just waiting for a message to say if we're going to get a new lobby. I'm pretty sure we are, but I want to make sure I don't disappear out of this one. It looks as though Liam has mentioned they are in, but sitting in a Red Bull. So it's going to look good for Red Bull at the end of this, but I think the points would want to go to Ferrari if Liam has their way. We'll see. We'll see. So we're just keeping... Yeah, so we're going as Liam is in this lobby, we are going to go racing here. We aren't going to restart. So that saves us messing around, also saves us having to wait too long before we get underway with racing. So whilst we wait for the drivers to line up on the grid, just a quick reminder, Emerge leads the way, 166 points. If they finish in 6th place or better, they will be Season 5 champion. If Liam Mag wins today and Emerge does not finish 6th or better, then we will go to the final race of the season. But it's looking like, I think Liam will be wishing Emerge an absolute disaster today, but only for their benefit, and no malice intended, I'm sure. But Emerge will just be looking to keep it on track. But I dare say they'd like to win here as well. So we'll watch with interest as our drivers get underway. SS7 will be looking for some good points anyway for that 3rd place spot. But Ghosty also is not a million miles back there on 85. So watch for a good battle between SS7 and Ghosty fighting out for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship as well. Also, there's plenty of positions still to play for here as we wait to go into the race. We don't have a formation lap here, folks. So when you see the drivers lined up on the grid, we'll get 5 lights, and when they go out, we will be racing. And that's what we're going to get right now. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing. Round 11 of the G-Force Racing Elite League, and Emerge KD's championship leader leads us away on lap 1. Looks like a good start from Obo, who's trying to go round the outside of Goat Ghosty, as indeed he's through on Goat Ghosty through turn 3 there. There's a big hit on the wall by one of the Rebels at the back there. SS7 losing out on that start, is down there in 8th. Emil through on them, so it's very tight battle as they got underway on lap 1, but Emerge has led us away, and Obo has stolen a place early on and is through on them. If we get down to Srivatsa, they've not had a bad start. Liam Mag's had a brilliant start in the Red Bull, already up I think 4 places, 3 places I should say, into 5th already. So Liam's had a great start, and we'll be looking ahead as SS7 has already got through on Mr. Hannes. So SS7 through, and none of our drivers wanting to get out of the range of DRS. If you're outside that magic 1 second, you'll be going backwards very, very quickly. So SS7 has got to work hard to get back onto Liam Mag in 5th place here. They cannot afford to lose DRS. We've got a yellow flag. Briefly as Mr. Hannes DNFing already at the back. So we've lost Mr. Hannes, a very slow moving Williams at the back of this grid. So I think they've just retired. So we're down to 7 drivers already. Merge KD's obviously setting the fastest time. That is the first lap of the race, and everybody back within DRS. And Mr. Hannes is welcome back to the Twitch chat. We'd rather you were out there racing, but some issues with Mr. Hannes' rig today, technical issues for Mr. Hannes, has taken them out on lap 1 already. So Emil got to get back on the rear end of SS7 here. Hopefully they didn't pick up any major damage. We saw them hitting the wall. They have. They've got front wing damage on that Red Bull. This could be a lonely race for Emil in 7th, but there's points to be had. Remember, points for the top 10 finishers. We've only got 7 drivers out there, so there's points for everyone here. They've just got to keep it on track. So Emil will work as hard as they can, and you never know, with a safety car, a change in the weather perhaps, and it could all change. But it looks as though it's going to stay dry throughout this race here. today in Vegas, so our drivers can focus on the driving. And if Milton can stay with this train of cars, this could be a driver performance of the day for sure with that front wing damage. We'll check SS7. They don't appear to have any damage from any collisions early on, so looks as though everyone else has come out unscathed. Now it's a game of chess, and I think every driver is on exactly the same tyres except for Emil, actually. So Emil, when they get the opportunity to pit, even though they might take the opportunity to switch on to some, well, they will get the opportunity to switch on medium tyres. They'll be much quicker than everybody else at the end. But do they take the opportunity to repair that front nose? With those hard tyres, it will be hurting them right now. Maybe it will come back, but it's not a great start for Emil, sadly for them. Obo is now in the lead of this race, or was trying to. They briefly, with the benefit of DRS, which is now activated, had come down the inside of Emerge, but had to slot back into second place as they approached turn 4. So it's a game of cat and mouse now, and we could probably see this order staying pretty much as it is until the first round of pit stops. Now these medium runners will try and take these tyres, I'm going to guess, to around about lap 12. Tyre wear around Vegas is not usually too severe. We ride on board with Goat Ghosty down the strip in race conditions for the first time. The neon lights ablaze on our left hand, right hand side and in front of us. DRS and plenty of battery as Obo uses that opportunity to move through up into the lead of this race on lap 3. Merge happy to let Obo go, of course, because we can just sit there in the DRS, in the slipstream of the car in front, conserve our tyres, conserve our battery. A little bit wide from Emerge. That's allowing Goat Ghosty an opportunity to look down the inside of turn 1. But Emerge will have the inside line for turn 3. And Goat, a bit of a switcheroo from the two RBs. And Goat will come through. They've got DRS again. That will allow them to stay with Obo in front. Now Liam Mag has got through, or yes, they've gone round the outside of Emerge KDs into turn 4. Here's the championship right here, folks. Emerge KDs and Liam Mag, positions 1 and 2 in the Drivers' Championship. Liam has started last, already up into third place now. Clearly has lots of pace. We'd expect them to have as well, but they've decided to start moving through. Now, will Liam be able to get away if they've got this pace? I've really struggled to see if that they will, and this is for the purists. This is probably going to be one for the purists, folks, and I am one of those. I do love these really strategic races. SS7 has really dropped off the back now of this train of cars. So I wonder if SS7 had a moment. It's pushed them back into, oh, we've got side-by-side wheel-to-wheel action between Emerge and Liam Mag. Remember, Emerge has got to be careful here. Liam has the upper hand in terms of being more aggressive in their driving today, because they know Emerge cannot afford a DNF if they want to win the championship here today. There's no need for Emerge to push hard. They just need to finish no lower than 6th place. No lower than 6th place. We do have 7 drivers out there, so I expect Emil to keep all of these drivers honest, and I think Emil and SS7 will start working together, try and get back on the rear end of this DRS train. And maybe Emil's doing really well with carrying that front wing damage, at least hanging on to SS7 in front of them as our cars start to slide coming into turn 7 there. SS7 and Emil working super hard, try and close that gap down. They've got a second to find to get into the DRS of Srivatsa in front of them. Srivatsa having a good drive here in 5th place, our championship leader down in 4th right now, having started on pole position. And so, yeah, this is probably one for the purists, but this is where I think the drivers really earn their money, both here in the online league racing, but also in the real world as well. And we got M1 Righty in the Twitch chat. Hey M1, good evening to you, my friend. I'm doing very well. Well, wish you could have been here as well, M1. It was a very small grid, but you would have been, I know, in the front of this train, and remember, gave us an excellent fight with SHS Predestinato in a previous season of GeForce Racing. Would have been good to have you out there, but thanks for stopping by the stream to say hello. Oh, and that's Emerge tapping or coming to blows with Liam Mag there, will to will. Actually, it certainly was. Got very tight between the two of them, and Emerge went sideways. I think Liam has allowed Emerge back through. I don't know whether or not Liam may have picked up any damage there. Looks as though they got very close to the wall, and this is the danger for Emerge. They're treading a tightrope between wanting to win this as a true racing driver, but also looking to preserve their championship lead. They can't afford to DNF here. Well, and we're right here. I think it's looking like an intriguing battle already on lap 6 between Emerge and Liam Mag. Liam knows that Emerge can't defend too hard. Otherwise, they potentially open the door for Liam to get a huge haul of points over Emerge and take this championship to the final race of the season, which is going to be in Texas. We're staying in the US, folks. We're heading to Texas next week on my birthday, would you believe, 21st of May. Wait for your diary, folks. As always, that's Liam going very deep into turn 14. That's let Emerge back through. The Liam pushing really hard. So yeah, we could have a grandstand finish next week. So if Emerge makes a mistake or Liam puts them under more pressure than they would like, Emerge does seem to be between a rock and a hard place here. We watch this with interest. Liam has had to drop in behind. Oh, Liam's lost some back end grip here in the Red Bull. Now, obviously, they're not driving their regular car, and Liam has now dropped out. I wonder if they have picked up some damage. We'll stay with him because Liam now is in SS7, running in 6. So SS7 is delighted about that. They've got they're in the Red Bull sandwich. That's not the best place for a Mercedes to be, but Liam is really struggling with grip right now, it would seem, in their Red Bull. So Emerge and Liam have separated by over a second now. So I wonder if Liam can reconnect their pace now and get back after Emerge. They were making great progress early on. They seem to have suddenly started going backwards. That's now an opportunity for SS7 and maybe Emil. Emil has picked up our first track limits warning, even around Vegas. SS7 sees that opportunity to get through on the Red Bull of Liam Mag, and Liam has been swamped by both SS7 and their teammate of Emil, and Emil is looking for an opportunity now to make a move on SS7, thinks better of it into turn 14, and I do think that Liam has a problem. Yeah, Liam is really dropped off the back now, so wonder if we'll see Liam going into the pits if they have got some damage, or maybe some connectivity issues perhaps for Liam. Let me head to the driver's chat briefly while I'm talking to you folks. No news in the driver's chat, but Liam is really struggling in their Red Bull, and maybe that is championship fight over for Liam Mag, and maybe this is Emerge can breathe a sigh of relief here, running in 4th place under no pressure from SS7, and can focus ahead of them. Something has happened though, as we've been looking at the trials and tribulations of Liam Mag. Obo has slipped down to 3rd, and Srivatsa is now up into 2nd place, but they have let Goat Ghosty away. There's now 1.7 seconds between Goat Ghosty and Srivatsa. So Srivatsa having a very good race here. Obo having dropped off of that. Maybe they pushed too hard, some of our drivers, on those medium tyres in the early stages of this race. So real mix and match running order right now. Goat Ghosty leads the way on lap 8. Srivatsa now in 2nd, which will be one of their strongest finishes. Their strongest finish in GeForce Racing history in the Elite League for sure. Emerge KDs will definitely be happy to sit there now. That they'll let Ghosty. Ghosty, remember, going after third place in the championship. This will be a great result for Ghosty here. And they were saying in the drivers' chat earlier that they go well around Vegas. And we know Goat is always quick. It's whether or not they can keep that consistency throughout a race, which seems to be missing for them in Season 5. It wasn't in Season 4. They led the field by a huge margin in the first half of Season 4, but then they missed a few races, and Jakob H came through to take victory in Season 4. But Ghosty was it on in the first half of Season 4 for their very first G-Force Racing Drivers' Championship. Wasn't to be this year either, but they've been a great teammate to Emerge KDs, and they've allowed RB to be in the box seat for the Constructors' Championship as well. I agree, M1 Ricey, a very low likelihood of a safety car here now today, with no rain predicted, very few drivers out there on track now. It would take a pretty spectacular event to bring Liam back into this now, and they are gradually dropping off the back of SS7 and Emil, but Emil and SS7 doing a really good job. They're getting close now to the DRS of Emerge KDs. This will bring the Mercedes back into play, and SS7 needs to sandwich themselves between Emerge and Ghosty to take the the Constructors' Championship to the final race. It looks as though we've got some early pits for Travatza and Obo in on lap as Ghosty started lap 10. Liam Maggs taking that opportunity as well. We will watch Liam Maggs, see if they do change anything else on that car. It does look as though Liam is missing. No, I thought there was a bit of missing front end plate on that front wing, but no, their car does look to be intact. So brand new hard tyres for Srivatsa, Obo and Liam Mag. There will be an undercut here. So this potentially brings Liam, Obo and Srivatsa back into play here, but obviously those hard tyres will be somewhat older by the time the other drivers pit. And Emerge KDs now has Ghosty now has a huge gap back to their teammate, with Srivatsa and Obo getting out of the way. So 4 seconds the gap between Ghosty and Emerge KDs. I can't believe we're on lap 10 already. I know we only had 8 drivers to start this race, but there's been plenty to keep us occupied. And now the strategy comes in to play. How long do our medium runners stay out there? How long do our hard runners, or how much quicker do our hard runners go? We'll keep an eye on the timing screen, and I'll do my best to keep you updated on that. The best lap of the race so far is Ghosty with a 1:33.501. Our drivers are now lapping in the 1:34s, 35s. So the lap time's well off the early pace. As the tyres start to go off, we'll see if the hard runners get back into the 1:33s, as Emerge KDs and SS7 also look to get off of those medium tyres and take their hard tyres to the end of this race. There will be no other pit stops barring a safety car or some kind of accident for any of our drivers. So the hard runners pitting early, looking to get an undercut, and we'll get a sense of that now. With Obo is going to be in the net lead of this race, I believe. Once Ghosty does eventually pit, it'll be touch and go, but we'll get a better sense of that. Obo only doing 1 lap so far on those hard tyres. We'll wait to the end of this lap to see how much quicker they are going. They are pulling Srivatsa with them. Emerge KDs, they're in 5th place now, just outside the range of DRS, but well done to SS7, because they're on the rear end of Emerge KD. So they're back in the fight here for Mercedes. So playing the longer game, SS7, after a pretty tough start in this race, is at least back in the DRS of Emerge KDs. Might be an interesting battle between Emerge and the Mercedes of SS7. Does Emerge look to try and take victory in the Constructors here as well for RB? We might have to do the maths on that though, because 5th and 6th may not be enough. It may be enough to at least take us to the final race of the season. It will be nip and tuck in that regard. as Srivatsa comes through on Obo into third place on track, but it will be, I think Srivatsa will have the net lead of this race once Ghosty does eventually pit. So Srivatsa sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:33.048. So that's nearly 2 seconds quicker. It's more 2.5 seconds quicker than Ghosty's last lap. That's a huge advantage at this stage. You can make up a massive amount of time, and that could drop Ghosty behind even their teammate of Emerge KDs. Look for where Ghosty comes out, but of course they'll have a big tyre delta to play with in the final stages. And don't count out Emil right now. They started on hard tyres, 13 seconds clear of Srivatsa, but when Emil comes out, they'll be on brand new medium tyres and will be the fastest car on track. It all depends whether or not they look to address the damage that they picked up on that front wing. I'm wondering if Obo has picked up some damage. These cars go past so quickly. I didn't quite pick that up, but I was just looking at the front right corner. No, they are okay, so good for Obo. Looks as though Obo will ride on board. We will use their DRS. No real need to use the battery here. Through, back up into third place. But remember, Obo and Srivatsa are essentially working together here to assume the lead of this race, as Ghosty does now pit on lap 13. Emil assumes the lead of this race. It's going to get interesting, folks. I told you strategy is a big factor here in Vegas. So Emil leads on track but has yet to pit. Ghosty has pitted, is in the process of pitting, gradually dropping behind Emerge KDs. Their teammate is back out on track, and SS7 is in front of... Ooh, that was wheel-to-wheel through turn 3, but SS7 is fighting it out now with Ghosty. Ghosty on brand new, colder, hard tyres, but SS7 decides not to fight too hard. They want to see their Mercedes through to the end of this race, and if they can hang on to the rear end of Ghosty and Emerge KDs, they are still going to get some decent points. But it might not be enough to save their Constructors title. We'll see. We'll see. We've still got time to play out here. But SS7 back in the fight on the rear end of the RBs. Obo now closing down on Emil, but it's 12 seconds. Let's compare the lap times. 1:34.387 for Emil last time around. 1:33.293 for Obo. So a second a lap faster for the Aston Martin, but not a massive advantage over Emil. And Emil can take their hunts there. That's what's going to let Emil down today. I think they've got 6 seconds of time penalties. Yeah, they have. So 6 seconds for Emil as Ghosty comes through on Emerge KDs. Does appear to have the pace over their teammate here. So Emerge not looking to hold up Ghosty, who's after third place in the drivers' standings against SS7, and SS7 right behind Emerge KDs. So Emerge will be defending against SS7, hoping to hold them up. This could be a good battle for us to watch. Will SS7 get through on Emerge KDs at their earliest opportunity here? Third place in the Drivers' Championship up for grabs, with 11 more laps after this one to go. I doubt SS7 will make a move down this first DRS zone into turn 4. But they'll charge up their battery and look to make a move through on Emerge in a moment. This is going to be one of SS7's hardest fights they've had for a very, very long while. Up against the two RBs, no protection from SS7 from any of their teammates on their own here for Mercedes today. Can they find a way through on Emerge, and can they get after Ghosty? This is a huge ask for SS7. But a number of contenders for driver of the day already here, as we've just passed the halfway mark of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Emil, if it were not for their time penalties, but carrying that damage, is having an epic drive at the moment. And SS7 fighting with Team RB here, both for their own Drivers' Championship standings and for the Constructors for Mercedes as well. And all of these cars are now into the range of Srivatsa in front of them in the Haas. So we now have 5 cars fighting it out for second to 6th. And in an odd way, as Emerged KDs gets us into the 132s, their fastest lap, 132.808. It's almost certain here that Emerged KDs is going to take the Drivers' Championship in Season 5. They've just got to keep it neat and tidy on track. Liam Mag well out of contention now, down there in 7th. And that lack of practice and last-minute arrival on the grid has perhaps not given them the best preparation for this race. But credit to them, they are still out there and looking really to hold on to second place in the Drivers' Championship, because they now need to look after over their shoulder SS7 and Ghosty. But remember, Obo is essentially going to be in the lead of this race when Emil eventually does pit, so don't count out Obo from victory here. And it could be a great last minute return from Obo and the Aston Martin team. So it could go absolutely any which way from here. A safety car will fall right into the hands of Emil. Unlikely at this stage, but who knows. And it's Srivatsa now. Has got past Obo, and Emerged KDs has come through on Obo as well. We're going to see this change lap after lap as our drivers use their battery and their DRS as Emerged KDs goes faster. Again, looking down the inside of Obo, we could see that from SS7's cockpit there. As we round turn 3, Emerge has got through on Obo. Obo dropping down into 4th on track, but all of the time where they are closing in on Emil. So Emerge defending from Obo. Obo leaving the door open as a result for Ghosty, but Ghosty can't find a way through. SS7 looks to make a move potentially into turn 7. It's doable there, but you need a very trusting driver alongside you to make that work. SS7 thinks better, but SS7 right back in the fight here. But they continue to pull away these drivers from Liam Mag behind them now, 3.5 seconds back for the Red Bull of Liam. But these points, folks, will actually end up going to Ferrari at the end of this race. That's very close from Ghosty on the rear end of Obo into turn 14. That's compromised their exit and allows SS7 to come through on Ghosty. This is where SS7 needs to be for both their championship hopes and that of Mercedes. But Goat had enough with the benefit of DRS to come back through on SS7. And Emerge is now through on Srivatsa into turn 14. So Emerge is going to be in the lead of this race. This is not done, folks. We're on lap 17 now. Emil continues on those hard tyres, the only driver yet to pit. But we'll keep their fingers keeping their fingers crossed for a safety car, and they'll be potentially on for taking victory here with brand new medium tyres. But we shall see. They're 8 seconds clear of Emerge KDs now running in 2nd. Obo now in 3rd. Ghosty now up into 4th. Srivatsa having dropped down into 5th. Remember, Obo and Srivatsa were the first to pit, getting off those medium tyres onto some hard tyres. And then came SS7 and Emerge KDs, and Ghosty was the last of those two pits. So they'll have a bit of a tyre delta on all the cars around them. Remember, Ghosty tried to take 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship and perhaps put Liam Mag under some pressure now for 2nd place. SS7 hoping to do the same, although SS7 down there in 6th. Emerge could seal their drivers' victory here today, and it's looking better by the moment. So that's a late. That was just a bit late by Goat on the brakes into turn 14, sideways, and a lock up for the RB. Opens the door for Srivatsa and SS7. And SS7 looking very racy all of a sudden, trying to get through on Srivatsa. They may have made that work using an awful lot of battery. Last of the late breakers into 14. Goat locks up again. So Goat's got out of their rhythm, it would seem, here. And 3 second time penalty. Oh, Emil. 3 seconds for Liam Mag and for track limits. And then Emil with a speeding infringement into the pits has given them 10 seconds. Emil will definitely, I'm sure, put on a brand new front wing now, but they'll be carrying 10 seconds to the end of this race. It's all gone backwards for Emil just on that pit entry. They were, of course, carrying 6 seconds with track limit warnings as well. SS7 through on Srivatsa, but not yet through on Goat Ghosty. It looked promising for a moment, and Goat seemed to have lost their rhythm briefly there and seem to be locking up an awful lot more than we would anticipate. Goat now running on a wheel compared to the start of season 4 where they were on controller, but also I think now racing with no line, so you've really got to have your wits about you as you approach those braking zones because you've got no aids at all, and it looks as though Goat took their eye off the ball momentarily, but they've settled back in now. But SS7 now up into 4th place, and with Emil pitting, that's put Obo into the lead on lap 18 and trying their best to get away from Emerge KDs behind them. But they've got 2 RBs and a Mercedes right behind them on lap 18. What a great return for Obo to the G-Force Racing Elite League, and a surprise last minute addition to the lobby. But it's very great, very good to have Obo back with us and performing strongly as always here. But now coming under pressure from Emerge KDs as we come to start lap 19. We do have a yellow flag, and is that Emil or is that Liam Mag? That was Liam Mag having a moment into turn 14, I think. So this not the best race for Liam at all, but they will at least score some points here. So we'll be hoping to take that Red Bull to the end of the race at least. 7th place is at least more points on the board for them, and defence of their 2nd place in the drivers' standings. Obo now dropped back into 2nd. Will have little defence against anybody with DRS down the strip here. But I think the last place anybody wants to be is leading this race on lap 25. That's the last place you want to be. And it's going to be a grandstand finish here in Vegas. I am never going to predict who's going to win this one, but it is definitely a battle between the front 4 at least. And it does look as though Srivatsa has briefly dropped out with the range of DRS from SS7. So it is Srivatsa's pace starting to go here on the oldest of these hard tyre runners. It's not going for Obo. Obo reassumes the lead of this race, coming through and Emerge. That forces Goat to go a little bit deep. We have another yellow flag for Liam Mag coming through turn 12. But that has now cleared, so normal racing conditions here, overtaking allowed in all corners as Obo leads on lap 20, followed by Merge KDs. Then comes their teammate of Goat Ghosty, followed closely by SS7. Travatza now 2 seconds back in 5th. Then comes Emil, who is now on those medium tyres, but has a massive 10-second time penalty plus 6 more for track limits. So not the best day at the office for Emil in the end, although it was going quite well for them. And they'll have pace now. Watch for Emil to potentially get fastest lap. The fastest lap so far, 132.742. Oh, and that is Goat Ghosty and Obo coming together through turn 14. Promotes SS7 into the lead of this race. Watch the replays back there, folks. Not sure who was at fault there, but it did look as though a tap on the inside of one of the cars sent both around, and Obo has left the session as a result. So Obo DNFs on lap 20. I did not see what happened. So was that Obo? M1 Righty, if you were watching that, I was looking at the timing screen and fastest laps as I looked up to see a sideways RB and a Aston Martin. Great result for SS7. So Obo got tapped by Goat. Perhaps it was, but maybe we'll see some reports in the FIA. But Obo joins us now in the Twitch rather than being out there on track. So we have lost 6. We lost 2 drivers. We've only got 6 left on track. If Emerge KDs stays on track, they are guaranteed to be champion. Liam Mag is still running there onto some soft tyres, going for fastest lap, maybe more points for them. But Emerge KDs is dragging SS7. So SS7 has kept their powder dry and has inherited 2nd place. And it could be, it will take the Constructors' Championship to the very last round of Season 5. And SS7 might be smelling victory here. they've not really looked to have the pace in qualifying or indeed in the early stages of this race, but they look pretty strong right now on lap 21. Yeah, Oba, that looks as you definitely had the pace here today, and that's an unfortunate coming together between you and Goat. But it was good to see you out on track again, Owen. So thanks for coming back, and hopefully we'll entice you back for F1 25 and Season 6. But maybe time to take a break, recharge those batteries, and maybe we'll see you in Season 6. But thanks for stopping by and saying hello, and for racing today. We've got Srivatsa right back in the fight as well, wheel to wheel with SS7 and Emerge KDs. SS7 now in the lead of this race. Srivatsa comes through in second. So remember, Emerge still has to finish if they want to take victory here and on the Drivers' Championship. They've got to finish here, otherwise Liam will allow them to take it through to the final round in Texas. So Emerge needs to keep it on track here. So maybe deciding not to fight too hard with Srivatsa, who also smells a podium position. They're up into second. Brilliant drive from SS7 it seems right now, and Srivatsa's not had a bad day either. Emerge and Ghosty dropping back into third and fourth. We do see Emil coming, but at the same time they're carrying those 16 seconds of time penalties for Emil. So unfortunately for them, they're definitely not going to be any better than fifth, and Liam Mag a long way back from Emil on some brand new soft tyres, looking to set fastest lap. As indeed, as I say that they do, 131.484 is the fastest lap of the race. Right, it's all getting towards the business end of this race now, as Emerge is not letting Srivatsa and SS7 have this easy at all. Remember, Ghosty wants to come through into the action here, because Goat needs to get in front of SS7 if they want designs on third place in the Drivers' Championship. We've still got one more round to go, so second and third in the Drivers' Championship could go to the wide. We have got three wide once again in Vegas down the strip, and it's going to be Ghosty, or did I Emerge KDs, fighting it out with SS7 into turn 14. SS7 has to go deep. Ghosty looked for an opportunity through on SS7 as well. I think they may have it. They've got a bit more battery, and they're going to come through on SS7 through the final corner of lap 22. SS7 has to give that up back into fourth place. Srivatsa now in the lead on lap 23. Could be this be the first ever victory for Srivatsa in the Elite League. Remember, nobody wants to be in the lead of this race on lap 25. That's the key here. So what is Emerge going to do? What is Srivatsa going to do? You almost want to give up the lead of this race on lap 24 and hope to fight it out. And Emil and Liam also need to just stay on track. If we get a huge pile-up into turn 14 on lap 25, it could be big points for Emil and Liam. So it's not done yet, folks. All to play for here. Remember, place is still at stake. Constructors' Championship still at stake. It's not done. And M1 Righty predicts that the person at the back of this pack is probably favourite. And I think you're right, M1. They're just going to have multiple slipstreams to choose from. It's really whether or not they can find a way through. And Ghosty is looking to get through on their teammate. Let's ride on board with Ghosty. Can we get Srivatsa into turn 14 as well? Ghosty is going to come through, it would seem. Srivatsa defending from Emerge KD. Srivatsa's certainly doing their best to hang on to Ghosty through the chicane, but the back end steps out on the Haas. That's going to allow Emerge KDs to come through on Srivatsa. The opportunities there once again for SS7. SS7 now, will they go the long way round? Turn 1, we've got a yellow flag. We won't get a safety car now. We're on the penultimate lap of 25 here, so no safety cars, as we saw a yellow flag briefly, I think, for one of the Red Bulls. But SS7 now plotting their attack on the final lap of the race. Do they take a position or two under DRS here, or do they take M1 Righty's advice and sit in this position for the final lap of the race? It's been a barnstorming race, even with only 6 drivers left out on the track. We've still had plenty to watch. We've been intrigued by the strategy. We've got another yellow flag, and that is, I think that's one of the Red Bulls going into the pits actually. That's Liam. So Liam's had a really tough day at the office here. Now, what does SS7 do? Use it as an opportunity to charge up those batteries. You want 100% for the final lap. It looks as though SS7 is using some here. They are indeed, but they still stay in 4th place. I'm really nervous for all of our drivers here. Oh, SS7 taps the wall coming through 15. So this is it. One mistake and it could be your race done, and Emil could inherit an extra position. Travatsa cannot lose the rear end of Emerge KDs here. Is Ghosty going to take victory? They're leading right now as we start the final lap of the race. SS7 in 4th, Travatsa in 3rd. Emerge KDs still on for championship glory here in round 11. Nobody will be able to catch them. And it could be Constructors' glory for the RBs if they finish 1 and 2. I think that's unlikely though, folks. Here we're approaching turn 12. That's where we're going to come into the final DRS detection point. As we head down the strip, SS7 needs Travatsa to pick up the pace here. Right, let's ride on board with SS7. We're going to get a grandstand view of the final trip down the strip here. SS7 needs to get past. They haven't got much battery though. There's not enough there. Can they get through on Travatsa? At least here into turn 12. They get very close to the pass as we come through turn 14, then 15, still wheel to wheel. Ghosty is going to win here in Vegas. SS7 looks as though they're going to be on the podium. But it's Ghosty who's going to come home to win in Vegas. Emerge KDs comes home in 2nd. SS7 in 3rd. Travatsa in 4th. Emil is going to come home. It does come home in 5th. And Liam Mag in 6th. But it means that our drivers' champion for season 5 is Emerge KDs for Racing Bulls. Congratulations, Emerge KDs. You are the season 5 drivers' champion. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. The Constructors champions are the Racing Bulls. Congratulations, Emerge KDs, Ghosty and Team RB for being the season 5 Constructors champions. You were pushed all the way by SS7, Jakob H and Jacobo throughout the season. But congratulations, Ghosty victorious here in Vegas. Emerge KDs comes home in 2nd, but they are season 5 drivers champion. Congratulations, Emerge. Congratulations, Ghosty. Congratulations, Team IB. SS7 not had a bad day for them. They came home in 3rd, puts the Mercedes on the podium, but sadly for them, it's not going to be Constructors' glory for Mercedes this season. The game gives Driver of the Day to SS7. I'm going to give Driver of the Day to Ghosty. Their first victory in season 5 after a long time coming. It's got to be said. But Go is finally on the top step. Congratulations, Go. Great drive here in Vegas. My Driver of the Day, and rightly so. Enjoying the celebrations under the lights here in Vegas alongside their teammate and now Drivers' Champion Season 5 Emerge KDs. And SS7 finishing in 3rd will take the Drivers' Championship to the final race of the season in Texas to decide who is going to finish in 2nd and 3rd, because I think with Liam finishing down there in 6th, I think he's opened the door for someone else to finish in 2nd place. We shall see. We'll do the maths and get back to you. Ghosty victorious in Vegas followed by their teammate Emerge KDs in second. SS7 finished in third. Great drive from them. Stravatza in fourth. A very good drive from Srivatsa. Emil kept it on track in the end, and despite all those penalties, does finish in fifth for Red Bull. Liam Mag driving for Red Bull today, or in a Red Bull, but will be picking up sixth place for them and Ferrari. Our two DNFs of Obo and Mr. Hannes. Obo going ever so well in that race until they sadly lost out. And bear in mind, we do have the FIA decisions to potentially come through if anything is reported. So maybe you don't read too much into everything, but I think we're safe to say Emerge KDs is absolutely victorious here in the Drivers' Championship. So what a great race, even with only 8 drivers managing to make it out onto track. But they kept us very well entertained for 25 laps. And I've just seen M1 Righty's comments in the Twitch chat. Yeah, SS7 had to push hard, but ran out of ERS at the end there. So sadly for them, only third place, but still a valiant effort here in Vegas. Right, now what I would usually try and do is say hello to a few drivers in the garages, and we do have one team left in the garage, and I dare say for very, very good reason. So we are going to head into the Team RB garage. I've walked down the pit lane here. I can hear champagne corks popping all over the place. Emerge KDs, Goat Ghosty, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Indeed we are.
Goat Ghosty, at last, victory for you in Season 5. Congratulations, great drive. Did you enjoy that race today?
I loved it, even though there was low numbers. It was a very good race at the top. I'm very sorry to Obo, because I did, in fact, kill him. He can report that if he really wants. But yeah, the race was good.
Well, congratulations to you for finishing on the top step of the podium. Barring any reports, we won't make any prejudgments. We did pick it up on the stream, but I must admit I was looking at the timing screens at the time, and then I looked up to see a sideways Aston Martin and a sideways RB. So we'll see where anything comes from that. But a great drive from you and finishing victorious here in Vegas. But we have to give huge congratulations to your teammate alongside you, Emerge KD, Season 5 Drivers Champion. Congratulations.
Thank you. Happy to win, of course. And I think we've won the Constructors. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we have.
I've given it to you already. Good. Yeah, I think you have. By finishing ahead of SS7, I don't think they could catch you, whatever happens in Texas next week. But there's still a bit to be decided in the other standings in the Drivers' Championship, at least. There's stuff to play for there. So you may have a role to play in helping your teammate potentially take second in the Drivers' Championship. But I think you've definitely done it in the Constructors' title. Now, I've got to ask you, Emerge, in the midpoint in that race, it was I got a sense you didn't know whether to stick or twist. There were a lot of drivers being pretty feisty around you, obviously trying to get position on track. What were you trying to do? Were you just trying to stay out of trouble, or were you thinking, I want to win here?
So with Liam, I didn't want to let Liam go, even though I knew I had more to lose. We had a little battle, and he says it was his fault. I think it was just a racing incident. We wheel banged. And then with everyone else, I was thinking, I've just got to stay with them. I don't need to risk anything because no one else was a big threat. And I was, towards the end, I was focusing on helping my teammate because obviously he's in the fight for P3 or P2 potentially. So that was my main focus. And I think we had good teamwork today in quali and in the race. When he had the moment with Obo, I backed the pack up so he could get DRS. And then I just defended from the others on the last lap because Goat deserved the win today. I didn't. My pace wasn't that good, but I'm happy to win the championship regardless, yeah.
No, it's been
me.
It was a brilliant drive, really was. And just brilliant drive throughout the season. You've really helped mix things up in the G-Force Racing League, but it's been tight, fair racing throughout. And so congratulations. And congratulations to Team RB on on victory here today. I want to ask you actually, what's the time differential with the benefit of a tow from your teammate down that the strip with DRS? Is it about half a second or so, or even more than that?
When I looked at my sector 3 time compared to my teammates in quali, it could be, I feel like Emerge was quite equal with me before we went into this race, and it was about 5 tenths faster than what I did on my fastest lap.
Wow.
So yeah, a quite big margin if you get a tow down that straight.
Well, are we going to have a RB lap of honour in Texas next week? Will you both be back for the grand finale next week?
I will be there. Yeah.
Someone's got to secure second. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll try help my teammate as much as possible because he's helped me throughout the season. So I'll try help him secure P2.
Okay, well there's a message to SS7 and to Liam Mag. The fight is on for second and third in the Drivers' Championship next week. Guys, thanks ever so much for talking to me. Congratulations on both the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. We'll say hello one last time for Season 5 next week in Texas. Enjoy the celebrations. Don't drink too much, and I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Speak to you next week. Thank you.
Well, congratulations once again, Team RB and Emerge KDs. We may as well do it one more time. Let me get these visuals out of the way here, and we can celebrate one more time with... I'll find the right button to push. Emerge KDs as our Drivers' Champion, and Racing Bulls, barring any adjustments from the FIA, as our Constructors Champions for Season 5. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. So that is nearly it for Season 5, but not quite. There is one more to come. Let me bring up the calendar. So we've just finished round 11. We're staying out here in the US of A. We are going to be back next week at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, in Texas, for the grand finale of Season 5. Remember, it's not all quite done yet. We'll be handing out all the trophies one more time, but also second and third in the Drivers' Championship has yet to be decided. So come and join us next week, 8 p.m. UK time, for that one. And look forward to you joining us then. And we also be saying goodbye to F1 24 and looking ahead to F1 25 and what that may bring us with the G-Force Racing Elite League. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today and would like help bolster the numbers, either for next week in Austin or indeed for Season 6, which will come once we get used to the F1 25 game, head over to the Discord server for the G-Force Racing League. There's a link on my Twitch channel and on my YouTube channel. Sign up over there and you could perhaps grab a seat either for the grand finale next week or for Season 6 when that gets underway. We've also got the Ironman will restart once we get underway with F1 25, and a range of Sunday friendlies between now and then, either on the old game or the new game. Stop by the Discord server, say hi, and come and be part of the G-Force Racing League, which continues to entertain us week on week. Well, my thanks to the drivers for giving us another great round of racing. And I want to say thank you to all of you for watching. Come and join us again next week, 8 p.m. UK time, for round 12 of the G-Force Racing Elite League. Until then, have a great week ahead, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye for now.